everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Abby and Joseph. We're really excited to make a video together today. We've enjoyed the comments on the last video that we made about how we developed into spiritual healers, and then sharing advice to get you guys working with your third eye and using your third eye to see the spirit realm, and then step into your healing ability, self-healing ability, even developing that into healing other people. So in that, we were looking at the comments, and one of them was actually asking for help with negative entities. So we're going to focus this video around this question and just talk a little bit about the subject matter. We're both really huge advocates for seeing the beautiful side of everything, not seeing negative entities as a terrifying, scary thing, but actually as a beautiful learning journey and an opportunity to share love in places where love is kind of broken, to heal that broken space and then transform it and bring it back into the light. So I'm going to read the question that we received, and then every scenario is completely different and is unique. So we'll read this scenario and we'll talk about it, okay? So it says, if you have a part of you that is so desperately in need to help somebody that has entities attached to them, what more can you do? I'm constantly sending light to him. I feel the need to not give up, but then there's a part of me that doesn't even know if it's working. I need to help him. It's a part of me that I need to do this. Any advice on spirit attachments, how to get rid of them for good? Whatever it is attached to him is not good. If I'm constantly inside of me giving my light to him, is it real? Can he feel it? Or do those entities know what I'm doing by me trying to get rid of them? So this question is, so you have somebody that you love, you feel that there is a negative entity attachment. So you're sharing your heart and your light to help move that entity into the light, and then help them disconnect fully from this person that you love. So how do you accomplish this work for somebody that you love? So I don't know, Joe, do you want to talk a little bit? Okay.
One of the things I see in this situation that comes up even in our type of work is the person wanting to let go of that negative entity, or want to let go or heal that part of themselves. Because negative entity doesn't necessarily mean it's an entity. What it means is that there could be a part of yourself that needs to heal, that which creates a demonic or entity attachment to that. So if you heal that part of yourself, the entity itself will fade away. Now sometimes they're very kind of like ascension, and sometimes they're not. So, but one of the biggest things I see in this situation is that you got one person that wants to help and the other person that doesn't want to help themselves.
I love that. Yeah. So in our line of work, we could help people out there not asking for our help. It's complicated because it's sort of like you have somebody who is constantly, you have a best friend, let's say, that is kind of down a dark road and they're abusing drugs. I want you to send energy to help them stop this drug abuse experience. Well, in the end, I can share energy with them, but they have to choose to alter their own pathway. They have to choose to be ready for this. They have to choose to say, I am done now. I'm ready to move on now. If they're not saying that inside themselves, they're not consciously saying that in their heart, in their mind, in their soul, then they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. So this man that you're sending all of this love energy to, is he ready? Is he ready to let go of this attachment? How do you perceive this attachment? How do you know that it is there, for instance? What is his vulnerability? What is he addicted to on a negative energetic level that is really being influenced by kind of a negative energy attachment? He himself has to say, I am ready to alter my behavior. I'm ready to see what is really going on here. And I'm ready to move on and start saying yes to love and saying no to negative energies, negative behaviors. Negative entities don't force us to behave negatively. We kind of fall into a pattern where we kind of get into kind of negative behavioral pattern, and then that attracts them to us. And then sometimes It could be a journey where you're meant to sort of stumble upon something that's like oh crap, I just stepped in a giant mud hole, I didn't expect that. It just happened to be there. So now you have this to deal with, and it's teaching you about yourself, the spirit realm, and all these things. So every scenario is different, but there's something about this that he is either choosing this still for himself, and you have to choose now to accept that he is not ready to let go of whatever this is. Or if he is saying, I do want you to help me, then how can we share advice, for people who, I'm working with my friend, they are saying, I have a negative entity attachment. Can you help me with this? How can we share advice then to help people become more effective at helping remove negative entities from friends and family that are actually consciously saying, yes, I am ready to let go of this attachment now?
Yeah, I think some of the other issues too is that in that situation, did you ask the person if they want for you to do this work? Mm-hmm. If you haven't, then it's not going to be as effective. It's like the person has to be willing to let go of the entity and also let go of the energies attached to it. They could be coming from many different places and many different sources. It could be addictions. It could be things that happen in past life traumas and lifetime traumas. It's not a simple thing to just say that you're going to go in and heal somebody. The person in themselves needs to be aware that you're doing it. And also be willing to let go of it. And I know I said this before, but this is a key to a lot of this healing, is that the person has to be willing to let go of that energy or that attachment. So if you do drugs, for instance, and you go down a really dark path, and your life starts falling apart, and you start attracting these things to you, and at some point you might even feel stronger with them around you.
Yeah. And
you build an attachment to it. And they could be coming to you as somebody that you love in your dreams. And you might think that you're in love with this being. They can even have sexual relationships with you in your sleep. So you build this attachment. You don't want to let go of it. So how do you get rid of that? Well, the person itself has to become aware that this is not a healthy relationship and has to let go of it. Mm-hmm. And if they refuse to, you can go in and transform that energy, and it's like literally as soon as you close the doors and transform the energies, it could be clear, but then they could just walk over and open the dam again, flood everything right back up again.
Yes.
And you will do it over and over and over again, and you will get exhausted from it because you get frustrated yourself as a healer, but you don't allow yourself to get that way.
Right.
If you help the person and they refuse to help themselves, then all you have to do is say, I did what I can do. Now it is in your hands. And if you refuse to let go of it, then you're never going to let go of it. And the attachment will get stronger and bigger, and your life will spiral in the same direction as where your energy is going.
Yes. So it's important to have that awareness that this friend of yours, this man that you are sharing all of this love with, the most effective way to help him is to say, hey, I care about you this much, and then even more than that. And I really want to help you find yourself again, get past this. I'm seeing there's a negative energy attachment, and I'm wanting to help you remove that. Maybe they don't get spirituality like we do. Maybe they're just not in that arena. Still, you saying, hey, I'm worried about you. This is going on in your life. I want to help you. Are you open to me sharing some energy healing with you? Just to get him to say yes to that, that's all you need. You just need him to consciously say, I am ready to move on. I really do want help for this. Now you can start journeying in and making a difference. So when we share healing with people in these situations, we're professionals. We have very visual experiences. We have very emotional, heartfelt, real life, kind of like virtual reality is what it's like. We go to a virtual reality version of your spiritual atmosphere, of your energy field, and we start going through scenes and spiritual spaces and even interacting with consciousness. The consciousness could even be your own ego. It's interesting interesting how ego can even be a demon, a demon that is so convincing and manipulative, because ego is a survival mechanism. And sometimes the survival mechanism is on too high, is on too much, that it's preventing you, it's imprisoning you, not allowing you to have the freedom to just be and express yourself as you are, but now to be sort of locked in a cage. Ego can do that. It's not just negative entities or demons or anything. It can be you yourself can be your worst nightmare. So when we go into the spiritual atmosphere of somebody like this, we don't just, it's not a superficial thing. We're not just share love with heart, share love with third eye, share love with these places. We actually go into the energy space, and then we are shown what is their vulnerability. We are shown where are the attachments. Do they begin in this lifetime, or maybe it's something the soul is still working on from a previous lifetime, some other timeline. So we go into all these energy spaces, and we see what is there, and we continue to talk through it, and our conversation is absorbed by the subconscious brain, by the human brain. Like we can, that's how we alter energy behavioral patterns. As human beings, we don't realize how much of our patterns of life, our life choices, are associated with stuff we are so not self-aware a lot of the time. And so we just keep bumbling through life and not realizing that we are kind of the reason for everything. So when you alter the programming, now you start walking differently. Now you start taking new steps in life. Now you start behaving differently and attracting more positive things into your life instead of damaging things. And not only that, lifting energy burdens like negative entities or demons and stuff like that. Demons are hardcore. Demons are extremely, extremely hardcore, and they're exhausting for us to do that work. I mean, it is exhausting to do that work because they are severely broken souls, and it's kind of a rare circumstance. So demons are a very rare circumstance. However, negative entities, we all have the negative voice in our head convincing us to do things we really shouldn't do. Even eating ice cream, every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No, I can't eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Evil negative entities, stop telling me to eat ice cream. It's life. It's a thing called life. So go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned a lot of different things, and I think you need to remember a lot of parts of what causes, like you mentioned ego. What is ego? Ego is your reaction to a situation. So when I go in and do work, I get ego all the time. That will start, and when you watch the videos, your ego will just instantly react. The way I always say, if your ego reacts to the video, the healing video that we do, it means you really need to pay attention to why.
Yes.
Because that is your ego. Basically, it's your ego not wanting to let go of the situation. But one of the things when we do go into for instance, one thing, it's I think some people get mixed up when you go in to do this work and you just shine light. It's not shining light. It's a lot more complicated than that. So when you want to transform something, you transform it with love.
Yes.
And then tension is important of what your intention is to do. Yes. And I also go in as well as Abby does too. When we go into, and especially demons are very powerful, strong, well-formed soul fragments or soul entities that are parts of who you are. Yeah. You'll be surprised how many times I go in and find out that the demons that are within yourself are parts of your old soul that have been fragmented off from experiences in past lives, experiences in this lifetime. Yeah. So you go deep into that part of the fragmentation of the soul, you start to discover why that happened. And the best way to heal that part of a person, and this constantly changes and transforms the more we do the work, is how we do the work. So in order for me to transform a dark entity or a demon or a soul fragment that is extremely lost and broken, is to go back to how it became broken in the first place and alter that reality so that part never happens, and then it causes an energy wave through the whole future,
a time
timeline,
spectrum. Yes.
Yeah, and it breaks it down, and it just crumbles away. The memories are still there, but the damage that was caused from it fade away.
Yeah.
Is the best way to describe it, and is not something that anybody can do. So if you want to remove entities and demons from people, you'd be very understanding that it's not simply just shining a light. It's more complicated than that.
Yes.
And the more you do this type of work, the more you learn and know what to do. And also be very careful that you have to be without fear to do this work. Because as soon as you become afraid, you could attract them to yourself, because that's what
that
these
becomes
things
your
do.
learning now
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's your time to realize that fear is something that is illusional.
Yes.
And fear itself is another whole nother topic.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So as you can see, the question that you asked is a beautiful question, and it's awesome that you care so much that you want to change this person's life. The hardest thing that we come across is, people that we know and love. We want to help them see themselves in the mirror, but only they can choose to do that. Only they can say, I am ready now. So even in our lives, in our worlds, we too have to face this reality that not everybody wants healing. And not everybody believes in it either. And you just simply choose acceptance. You accept that is their learning. It does not have to be your learning. You're saying that it is your learning because you feel a part of this. You feel somehow wrapped up in this. So now you are choosing to identify that you are just as much a part of this learning experience as he is. Is it really you, though? Is it really on you, or is it entirely his experience? You're just a observer that cares. You're just a caring observer. If he doesn't want to change or do anything differently, then you need to see the reality of this, let him go, let him learn things on his own, and then move on. Because we're talking about negative stuff here, so it must be influencing him to behave in a way that's not what you feel inside your heart is truly him. He's not acting like himself, something of that kind. And so you're trying everything you can to really help. But sometimes the best thing you can do to help is to acknowledge, how am I helping myself in this? In the end, it's causing me too much grief, too much stress, too much misery. He is not wanting to change. He is not wanting to listen. He doesn't want to receive my love and help. Now it's time to let go and move on. That's one of the hardest things you can do as well. Is to simply acknowledge there's nothing else you can do. And that's okay too, because it is his soul learning. Yeah. You see? You can only do so much.
And she just said what I was going to say as well, is that you have to know when to let go and when to stop helping. Yeah. I guess you always help, but you have to know when to stop and say, okay, this person needs to grow more before I can actually help them.
Yes.
And that's part of the learning as well.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, this is just kind of a smorgasbord conversation about what we experience with negative entities, kind of giving you some tips, different ways to look at your situation, and anybody else watching the video, just different ways to look at this topic and how we as spiritual healers help other people in these situations. Just to let you know, couple things. One, I have a playlist. If you look into my playlist section, you'll see a demons, negative entities, psychic attack playlist with a bunch of videos in there with healing and just talking about the subject, just to give you more advice and tips to help you through it. Joseph and I also do journey work to help people in extreme situations. We both do what would be like a soul rebirth journey is what I call it. It's 60-minute session for me. Joe is between 45 to 60 minutes depending on when it is complete. And then we both do the work at the exact same time. So you will get 2 hardcore healings in your spiritual atmosphere, helping to clear out all of that garbage energy and help to alleviate garbage energy so you feel the light inside yourself and around yourself, and you start to have higher clarity and feel total relief from this. Total relief. And on top of that, you will learn a lot about yourself and what is attracting this in the first place. It could be just a soul learning journey. You could have relationships with these entities. It could be something you need to work on within yourself. Self-love exploration could be all kinds of different things. There is no situation, 2 situations the same. Everyone is totally unique, and you'll learn a lot about your soul, a lot about the situation going through, and you're going to find a lot of relief. So in addition, Joe's got a playlist too that you should check out on his YouTube channel.
Yeah. And the lovely train goes by again.
I know, it's such awesome timing with that stinking train. It's a negative entity. It is ruining our video.
Oh, I just laugh at that train. And I could just see the guy going,
he loves
laughing
it.
His head off as
He
he's pulling
loves
it. Yes.
pulling the horn, and everybody hears that he is here. We hear the train all day long, and in the middle of the night too. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, it's funny. So, yeah. I guess I kind of got off topic there.
So Joe has a playlist on his YouTube channel. Check out his YouTube channel, Joseph Bradley, spiritual healer and teacher. Yeah. And you should tell him a little bit about the playlist, the Dark to Light, From Dark to Light.
Yeah, From Dark to Light's basically about my own personal experiences of how I dealt with these entities. And it's just, but I've learned so much since that time.
Joe has just to cut you off for a minute. Joe has real life experience as just an everyday human being trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Every single night for years, being pulled into astral with negative energies, shadow beings.
I can just give you just one example.
He talks about that.
And one of the examples is I was like, one time I just hear this big massive rumbling, and then I find myself, this is in a dream state, and I'm literally getting hit, and I fly through the air and smash into my mirror and roll onto the ground. And then I have to stand and fight that thing that just came at me, and I fight it all night long. There's other times where I'm walking in my house and there's 9 entities that sometimes is 2 or 3 holding you down and blocking the light, and you have to force yourself up and walk around the room. I got literally thousands of experiences when I was awake and when I was sleeping. It was a learning lesson for over 20 years of different things, but at the time I had nobody to talk to about this stuff. And I even have so much validation as people that were with me at the time were having the same experiences with the same entities, and I didn't tell them about it, about that specific type of entity. And there was 2 of them. Well, they're not entities, they're spirits. They're general shadows, but when you shine light on them, then they look very much whatever they look like. They could be, and there's some that were white. And you always hear the old saying that the devil is light. But it's only light on the surface. You go into their hearts and it's very much dark. But some of the most powerful entities that I've dealt with and spirits were ones that gave off white light. But the energies they gave off was not light. It would make you sick to your stomach to even have them in the same room with you. And I've had tons and tons of experience, and that video is basically just my own personal experiences and how shining the light within yourself is bringing a little expanding your heart portal outward, and fill the room with light will pretty well get rid of them, and pretty well get rid of them for good if you continually allow that light to shine within yourself. And the more you shine your heart portal outward, the more love you let go through your body, the farther away they'll be.
Right.
And if they come back, so what? Just send them away again. The same way. So it's more complicated than that, but it gives you a little bit of idea.
Yeah.
So.
But he's got a playlist from dark to light, and with a bunch of videos to talk about your experience with that and how you overcame it, conquered it, and moved on from it. But in addition, just one thought that crossed my mind a lot of people talk about, just shine your light and then make them go away. I'm just going to ask you as a YouTuber, how do you shine your light? Can you tell me, and can you explain, just one short paragraph, tell me, how do you shine your light? Like, I know a lot of us say just shine your light, but we don't have a freaking clue how to do it. So I think, Joe, you should tell me. Tell Joe. Light? Joe, tell us all. How do you shine your light?
How I initially figured out how to shine my light is a spin in my spiritual atmosphere. That's one way.
Just spin.
No, it's more than that. As you spin, you're putting love into yourself, and then you visualize yourself expanding like a tornado of light all around you.
Yes.
But that was an instant, like spin, bang, and all of a sudden the whole room's lit up with light.
We're talking energetically.
Yes.
So in the journey state, you see yourself in the space, you see this the entities in there, and you actually spin really, 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 really fast in that in the state, in the journey state.
But and then when you stop, then you explode into light. So when I explode, you literally visualize yourself as when you stop. There's an explosion of light that goes all around you, and now you're glowing really, really, really bright. And you can also do it other ways. Just allow your heart to see your heart with the orb of light, and expand that orb of light in your mind, in your third eye, all around your whole body, and fill the room. You can fill the house. You can fill it. The whole world and into the universe. There's no limitation of your energy. Only you believe there's limitations, and there isn't any. So you can shine your light throughout the whole universe and beyond. And so when we say shine your light, it's a visualization in your third eye of expansion of light and amplification of your energy.
Right.
So if that helps.
And another way, just a simple way as a human being to shine our light in this human world. You walk down the street and you smile at people and look them in the eye. You say hello to a random stranger. You open the door. You tell somebody, happy Thanksgiving. That is how you shine your light. You simply choose to be love and make a meaningful impact in somebody's life by doing something positive. That is how you shine your light through action here on Earth.
Be good to people.
Yes.
And there's also help. You can ask God to shine light onto you, which then it will amplify your energy. You can ask Mother Earth. You can ask the universe, whatever you believe in.
Right.
You allow that the higher light energies to you visualize the light coming into you and expands your heart outward.
I think a cool idea for those watching this video, let's use this video as an opportunity for us to feel like a supportive group. I think if you want to comment, I would love it if you could share comments on your interpretation of how to shine the light. And that way, anybody who watches this video that is struggling to shine the light or remove entities, or we can start giving our own personal advice on how to accomplish this and making a difference. And now we have a YouTube video and then like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments, right, on how to shine the light. So anybody watching can go in and be like, wow, okay, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And constantly another idea. And now we're making this as a super awesome help topic for anybody who needs help with this, right? That's what this video is all about, and that's what we're here for. Not just Joe and Abby, but you too. You're here to help people as well. And so tell us, how do you shine your light? I think that would be really cool. But you can comment any way you want to as well, because that's always fun anyway. Just to read
you said a good point, because everybody will know how to do it differently, and that's the key to a lot of spiritual awakening is to do it your way.
Yeah.
Nobody else's way.
Right.
Your way.
Yeah.
You just ask people for help, they will give it to you, but ultimately you have to do it yourself. We're here to help you develop that part of yourself, to remember who you are. But ultimately, you're the one that will end up doing everything in the long run.
Yeah.
Because if we do the work, we clean it up, you open the door, you fill yourself back up, how many times are you going to do that? Over and over again.
Right. It does help after we do a session. it massively changes the way that you are approaching your thoughts
Yes.
and feelings about your situation, the way that you are feeling grounded and energetically balanced. You'll feel like you are energetically protected. But if the attachment is your best friend or your spiritual lover or something of that kind, because demons can be lovers too, you can miss them and you can awaken that energy
That's a
back
good
into
point.
your life.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we have made a massive impact in a lot of people's lives. And the impact happens because the energy work, our positive energy work, gets into the roots of these problems, gives you a lot to teaches you about yourself and about why you're attracting this in the first place, and tips on how to get beyond it, on top of transforming all of that stuff, energy garbage stuff. So it totally gives you a massive boost and ability to live your life again. So,
Yeah, it like gives you the opportunity. It's like going to rehab.
yeah.
When you go to rehab, you don't have access to anything that caused that addiction in the first place. So when you come out of rehab, are you just going to go and start the addiction again, or are you going to actually continue through life without it?
Yes.
It's like AA. You're going to continue after you're done of AA, you're going to go drink, or when you stop drinking for a while, you're going to go back into it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We give. It's like almost gives you the relief to have you start over,
Yes.
to start from scratch
Yes.
in that specific topic or thing that you wanted us to look into. But now it's up to you.
Yeah. So, I hope you have enjoyed this video with Joseph and myself, and I want to thank you for sharing that question as well on our previous video. I hope this video gives you some tips and new approaches and thoughts about the whole situation you're going through. If anybody is interested in doing a psychic service with either Joseph or myself, my website is abbynormalswisdomquest.com.
And mine is AmonRossAwakening.com. And always remember to be good to each other.
Yes.
Take care.
Okay. Bye, everybody.